Hello girls. Okay, we're back. And the last page of Follow Me, our By the Well for God devotional. We are doing it from our handout that came in your packet. It's page 2, which says day 1, page 4. And we are going to cut 6 pieces of cardstock to 4 inches by 6.5 inches. We're going to score that at 3 inches and 3.5 inches along on the long side. Then we're going to fold it at the score lines. So we had talked about scoring a while back, so I'm not going to revisit that, but I am going to show you everything that's in your packet, and that will help us to remind ourselves what that means anyway. So, okay, so let me move. Well, first I'll give you a quick picture of it. So here is our page 4, and this layout has all the writing on the back, the answers to our questions that we discussed. I haven't quite finished putting mine in there, but I'm almost done. So I'll set this aside. And as far as what was in the envelope for page 4 of day 1, there's a blue sheet, which I'll show you where it goes right now. This is probably easier. Picture's worth 1,000 words. So that blue sheet goes on the back. So you adhere that one just to that page, okay? You get that blue page, and then you also get 6 pieces of cardstock. These are your little windows on that lift up. I don't know if you can see on here, but there's a score line. So we took this piece of paper, we scored it here and here, meaning we made a crease at 3 inches and at 3.5 inches. That way we could fold it, and then it folds up like this. Okay? So we did that with all of these. So that's how those work. And for the very first little picture, we're going to put this scripture, and we're going to trim it down so that this will fit. And I believe I trimmed from the bottom like this. So it went kind of close to that edge and then over, so it fits there. Okay? So if you haven't done it before, I think I measured, it was, where's my ruler? Crumbs. I'll use this one. This has an arm on it, and I guess I should know this, but this is 4 this way. So the most that it can be is 4 inches wide. And then this is 3, right? 3 inches. We scored it. If we turn it this way, it's 3.5. Right there, which is equivalent to that line. It's a little confusing. But anyway, so here's 3 inches. So we know it can't be more than 3 by 4. This little scripture. So we're going to trim it here at, that says 3, but it's odd. Okay, let's see. You want to trim that down about 1/4 inch is what it looks like. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Alright, maybe even 1/8 inch and then 1/4 here. So we're going to do this. And okay, let's see if that's narrow enough. And now you can see that it'll fit on there. At least this portion will. Now we have to trim this side to make it fit. And we're going to do about 1/4 inch, I believe, is what it'll wind up being. And now look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It fits just nicely in there. So then we add our adhesive to the back, whether it's tape, glue stick, or whatever, and you would attach it. That is the first page for the very top of all of these little flaps. Okay, so adhere that, and then you fold the rest of these up along those folds. If you notice, even though they're exactly the same when you make them like a taco, the height is the same, like a little book. When you lay it flat, there is a lip along the bottom or an edge that is lower than the top. And this is where we're going to put our floral edge that makes a picture. So the one in your packet that's marked with a number 1 goes here with the flower side up. And go ahead and lay it out next to you before you start attaching it. But basically, your number 1 goes on the one that has the scripture attached to it. Okay, here's our scripture page. So here's your number 1 page. So your flower cut strip is going, the number 1 goes here. And then all of these little, I'm going to call them tacos, get one of the printed ones attached inside. So they get one of those, you glue it in, glue this on. Once it goes flat, there's room for the flower side. You do that to all of them. You do that to each one of these. And then I'm going to show you a view from the side. You see how these are glued? I made the little taco, I adhered it to the top. Then I made the little taco and I just butted it right up to the next one. So even though they're not glued together, there it is. Can you see that? I hope that makes it easier to understand. Pardon me, that's the bottom of that one. And then here's the next little card you have for a flap. That one gets right up to the edge of the next one. And it'll naturally make a fan down. All right, so that one is fairly straightforward. The biggest tip I can give you is on the back of the flowers pages, strips, I should say, I put numbers, and it tells you what direction to put those in. So if you lay those out, here's 5 and 6, for example. There's part of the flower, and there's part of a flower, and it shows you how they come together. Let me see if this is 6, arrow up. So you just keep on doing that until you have a picture. Here's number 4, and that makes a picture. So there's petal, 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 and then it'll all the way up. So there's 3. Looking for the other petals. This is 2. And this is 1. So there you go. So then you know, as you adhere, scripture, the bottom of this goes number 1, because that's number 1 in the set. And the rest of these will not have, the only thing you'll be attaching to the rest of them is a blue strip on the inside and a floral strip on the bottom. And the reason is you're going to be writing on these note cards. The only one that has no writing is the top one, because that's basically your intro or your cover page, cover sheet. And when you're done, it should look something like that. So I hope that was made it simple enough. As far as adhering the cards to the page, this is where it'd be really nice to use some super sticky, either the tape runner, the tape, this one, or the liquid glue, art glitter glue, or your hot glue. It has to be super sticky. If you have some super sticky tape that goes onto that, or adhesive. And that's that. And I'm so excited to see everything that each of you comes up with. And remember, when you're done, this is in the book. Actually, okay, so here's one clarification. Before you stick it in the book, before you put this one in the book, adhere each of these pieces. Okay? And then attach this to the book. Now that makes sense. You could still do it the other way, but you just have to remember to start towards the top and work your way down, continuing to go down, making those little tacos. Glue, 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 all the way down. So, forgive me if this is not super simple, but I tried to make it as easy as possible. So your feedback is more than welcome. If you want me to actually do the whole project in front of you, I can, but I didn't because I didn't want to make this video last forever. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you soon.